On this week's episode of Heroes and Villains, we're going through this week's pull list. We're definitely doing news from around the net. And, do you like action figures? Do you like toys? Well, in a new segment we called What's in the Toy Chest, we're going to show you pre-orders and what's new and hype this week. So stick around. Hey guys, this is the Heroes and Villains podcast on Dopish Media. I am your host, Edward Merced, and we're bringing you everything from nerd culture, from comic books to games and stuff, everything in between. On this week, we're going to dive into news, we're going to dive into toys, and we're going to dive into our pull list. To start off first, we're doing news from around the net. These stories come from places like comicbookmovies.com or anything like that. I thought I would express my interest in them, because you know this is old school, this is how we do it here, this is how we've done it here. So on the first story, supposedly She-Hulk's official synopsis seemingly leaked by Disney UK, along with possible premiere date. Now with She-Hulk, it's been in the works for probably a couple of years now. We already got the actresses who's gonna play Jennifer and She-Hulk, so I'm excited for this. And there's always, little tidbits of rumors that Daredevil's gonna show up in a yellow and red suit or whatever, what have you. But so the synopsis is this: this new comedy series sees Bruce Banner help his cousin Jennifer Walters when she needs an emergency blood transfusion, and guess what? She receives his powers too. Tatiana Maslany will play Jennifer, and who is a lawyer specializing in superhuman-oriented legal cases. Mark Ruffalo is back as a Hulk alongside Tim Roth, who is an Abomination. Which sounds great. It sounds like we'll get some quirky, off-the-wall, West Coast, crazy characters that might need some litigation help, and they go to Jennifer Walters, which is pretty dope. But there is a couple of series like Secret Invasion, Ironheart, and She-Hulk who haven't gotten real release dates yet. Stuff's been shifted around, obviously because of COVID. But this should be good. Those should be coming out within, just a couple months. So I'm pretty excited for this show. Like I said, Marvel's kind of been in a decline a little bit. It's true. I mean, if you don't agree that maybe you don't like quality, I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it's the best we've seen from Marvel. I mean, you still had No Way Home, which is great, and Multiverse of Madness is not as bad as people think, but it's not great. So yeah, that's for She-Hulk. Next up, crazy rumors, but it's actually pretty true. In the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Daniel Craig was, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, please put this video on your watch list and come back, or just speed up in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes from here to the future. Daniel Craig was going to be Mr. Fantastic. This comes from Josh Wilding on comicbookmovie.com. He was eyed as the key member, so I don't know, does that put a pinch in some people's eye for Mr. Fantastic. Does John Krasinski come back? I mean, if they wanted Daniel Craig, does that mean they weren't even looking at John Krasinski? So it's a lot of questions to be asked. I mean, supposedly the reason why he wasn't in it was because a lot of COVID cases and he didn't want to attract the virus, so they couldn't schedule him in there. But also, even with Tom Cruise was gonna make a cameo as Tony Stark too. So now we're starting to see these fan castings kind of taking a big part into becoming real life, because even in phase 1, Hawkeye wasn't even cast and the fans pushed for Jeremy Renner, and Marvel listened and they got him in Thor, as Hawkeye. That was as close to the premiere date as possible. They filmed that last second. So I think what they filmed was it was a guy who just shot an arrow, but then they put his scenes in there because they liked the way he was as Hawkeye. So maybe we will get a Tom Cruise as Tony Stark. Who knows, man? So some of this stuff is crazy. Like Daniel Craig, he's so serious, and I'm not saying, Reed Richards is like a comedic character, but like, I just don't see him in it. I don't know, but Daniel Craig as Doctor Doom. That would be dope. I would see that. Hell yeah. So next up, Venom 11. Number 11 will give the sleeper symbiote a new host this August and a badass new looking costume. I'll put it up on screen right now. The artist said, "I had to learn to draw cats for this book, not just symbiotes, and Sleeper has been a favorite one to play with. We haven't seen him too much, and that's about to change as he's getting serious and up in his game. He's bringing a new element and a new player into the symbiote world with Sleeper Agent. Chemical and biological warfare. Discover reveal is really only the first phase of Sleeper Agent looks. They are symbiotes after all." Now, I'm not gonna lie, this looks like Yellow Jacket from the MCU. And the toxin aspect of it, the whole breathing apparatus, I don't know, this looks kind of weird to be like a symbiote. At first, even the Agent Venom was kind of weird to me, but this looks alright. It doesn't look crazy. It just doesn't look like it's a part of Spider-Man's world with the mechanical stuff. But we'll see how it goes. It looks like it has different toxins for different things. It looks like it's just killing people, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how that goes too, man. Here's a good story. Doctor Strange 2 director Sam Raimi said he'd only make another Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. Why is this a great thing? Because there has been talks about Tobey Maguire returning to Spider-Man, and hopefully, we get that. He's been talked about doing a lot of projects, and he was supposed to be in Doctor Strange supposedly, but that idea was cut out for something else, and he was rumored to have his own thing, but then it was rumored Andrew Garfield to take over the Sinister Six aspect of Sony, so we don't really know what's happening. But Doctor Strange 2 director Sam Raimi saying that he wants to come back to do a Spider-Man 4. That's very interesting. So we have the director and possibly the actor both wanting to come back. That seems like a good recipe for amazingness. I could just think of the villains who Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man can and play along with in his world. I'm thinking, they're probably thinking about stuff that we haven't seen yet, right? But if I had to put my ideas out there, let's go with, let's do a Scorpion. Scorpion and maybe another bad guy. Maybe I mean, they could do Kingpin and have Scorpion just be a thug for him. Or even, I'm trying to think what would be the best villain. Because they already did Venom. I don't know if they could do Carnage, especially since it came out recently. I mean, they could do Hobgoblin. I don't know. I mean, it's a good idea. I just don't know what villain. I mean, unless they do a less popular villain. Who would it be? I don't know. I'm trying to think, but nothing's coming to mind that would be really. I mean, they're doing Kraven the movie, so they can't do Kraven, which I would love to see. Sandman they did. Think of the Sinister Six, but then you also have like the Jackal. You could make a little team up of something like that. Yeah, you can even have them go against the Vulture, who's in Sony's universe. But then that's already been done. It's like you don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. Yeah, I would have to look. Maybe I'd do a list of like the top 5 or top 10 villains that we should see in a Spider-Man movie, instead of just trying to do it off the top of my head. But that's a good story, though. I mean, I'm glad to see that. And in our last story of the week, this is really cool. Marvel has a new book out called Marvel Voices Pride 1, and it reveals a new transgender mutant superhero called Escapade. Now this is cool because I love new heroes and stuff like that. When the big books can do stuff like this, it's really cool. Marvel Comics promised to introduce a new chapter in the pages of this June's Marvel Voices Pride #1. And it's now been confirmed that Escapade will join the ranks of the Marvel Universe's LGBTQIA+ superheroes. The mutant will debut in the comic's central story, written by author Charlie Anders, illustrator by Roy Stein and Ted Brent. Escapade, whose real name is Sheila Sexton, is described as a trans mutant who can instantaneously switch physical locations with another person or trade any specific physical or with another person or trade any specific physical or abstract attributes such as possessions, organizational status, skills, superhuman powers, and even situations. The mutant is only able to maintain a power for a few hours at a time and must be within 7 feet of her target, and the more complex the switch, the higher the chance of a mishap. Luckily for Escapade, she has an invaluable partner at her side, her tech-savvy best friend Morgan Red, along with a tool belt containing an arsenal of stolen tools and devices. Together, Escapade and Morgan tear through the Marvel Universe as professional thieves, stealing from criminal and corrupt organizations, until a meeting with Emma Frost and Destiny will change the course of Escapade's life forever. Speaking from the artist, I have loved the Marvel Universe as long as I can remember, so I am thrilled to be able to introduce a brand new hero staying alongside of all of my favorites. I hope that Escapade and Morgan Red will inspire trans and non-binary people everywhere to believe that they too can fight for justice with power of creativity and chosen family. That's pretty dope. Like I said, I like new heroes and new stuff. I mean, yeah, except for the symbiote, it just looks weird. It's supposed to be like sludge, but then it has the toxin. But I do like this. The power seems a little much though. What does it say? She can instantaneously switch physical locations with another person. So I guess if they're fighting, she could go and they switch, or then the other person gets hit. That's weird. But then the other part of this is like, with another trade any specific physical or abstract attribute. It's physical or abstract. So she could take their thoughts? I'm guessing? It sounds like she could take their thoughts or muscles, and I guess she could transmutate herself. That's what it seems. I mean, that's cool though. It's especially a kind of book like that is broadening the spectrum of Marvel characters and their powers. So I've never heard of this one, but it just seems like she could switch whatever she needs to in any situation. So that's good, man. And that's it for this week's news. Look, if you have a story that you want me to cover and want to have my thoughts about, comment below or go on IG at Dopage Media and give us a holler. Now, you know what time it is. It's time for this week's pull list. Check it out. At number 1, we have Venom Lethal Protector number 2. And all I have to say is Venom versus Hydro Man for the first time. At number 2, we have Spider-Punk number 2. If you're a fan of Spider-Punk and Spider-Man, this is a great book to read. At number 3, we have World's Finest number 3. Robin and Supergirl go on a time-traveling adventure to BC, China. Number 4, we have Han Solo and Chewbacca number 2. And they're working with Greedo. Who will win first? And at number 5, we have Savage Avengers. Conan takes on this team with Deathstroke, Anti-Venom, and a whole bunch of others. That's this week's pull list. If you have any ideas or suggestions for books, let us know. The next 2 weeks are going to be indie stuff, so I'm pretty sure you guys will like that if you're deep into comic books. Because sometimes if you're not, if you're coming into the comic book world, it can be a little daunting. Where do I start? Where do I do that? If you don't know where to start, hit us up on IG and ask, and I'll definitely suggest some good books to start off with. And also even books that are not from the big publishers. I'll definitely let you know, because that's why most of the times you see in the podcast a lot of number ones, and you're thinking, well, you don't really know how good that book is going to be. Well, no one does, but it's a good jumping off point for people who are just getting into it. So I think number ones are always great. It's you'll follow some set of story, and then you can always branch off to do your own thing. So with that being said, last objective of this episode, it's what's in your toy chest. Should be a graphic there. I don't know. So basically what's in your toy chest is when I talk about stuff that you could, toys, Funkos, specialty items, just stuff that you want to have in your possession, because if you're a comic book fan, you want an action figure, you want a poster, you want a Monopoly set of, Batman, or, a statue and stuff like that. And I'm very much a fan of getting that stuff, and, I started buying things other than comics in 2015. I remember when it was like 2011, and my friend Justin used to collect Funko Pops, and I thought it was weird. I was like, they're not even posable. Like, what is the point? And now I have an excessive amount myself, and I get other stuff. I'm even like the person who likes to get puzzles, put the puzzles together, Mosh Podge it, hanging on a wall. So I guess I'm just one of those people that like I've painted a Darth Vader helmet. but I also like getting, toys and items like wrestling belts and fake guns. I also like to do that stuff, like make things like masks and stuff like that. So it's a part of me to do this segment where I just highlight some stuff that I like, see stuff that's coming out, and just appreciate all the stuff that the world has to offer, I guess. So this week, Hasboro, who does most of the Legends stuff, got some pre-orders out, and Marvel has a new line, and it's called Legends. I think it's Legacy, and they came out with their first 4 figures, which is from the movie Black Panther, which is Shuri, Nakia, Killmonger, and T'Challa. And these figures are actually really nice. So this T'Challa one, which you'll see, I'll put a graphic up. The box is really dope. Has a Legacy series on top. Black Panther. He's in the power suit. This is actually, I believe it's the same figure. It could be different. The sculpt could be different on the face, but I'm pretty sure this is the same figure as the Avengers Infinity War Black Panther figure, and I'll put both in there so you could be the judge of that. It's a good figure. Even the I think the Killmonger is the one you want from this line, because he actually comes with a new mask. I think his mask is new, and I think the figure is even new too as well, which is very dope. I really like that figure. I'm gonna pre-order that one. The Nakia and the Shuri stuff, their face sculpts is really good too. I think Shuri's is a new shade on her skin. I'm not sure, but Nakia looks dope with her round weapon as well. So I suggest you get those. For Hasbro, they also came out with Thor Love and Thunder figures, and I just have to say, Walmart, you guys are pieces of shit. I tried to get a figure, they didn't want to sell it to me, and then when I went back, they were all gone. So that's what it is. The Thor figures are cool. We have Thor in his blue and black and gold with an actual mask, which is, I've been asking for that for ages. Thor has a helmet. Why has he not worn it? Chris Hemsworth wants to see his face. Then we got Mighty Thor. Natalie Portman looks pretty dope. Gore the God Butcher. I mean, he looks just like a wary soul. He doesn't look anything like the comic books, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. Valkyrie, and then we have Ravager Thor, and then strangely, just 2 Guardians from the movie. We have Star-Lord, which I like the figure. I think it's a better figure than the original Star-Lord. And then we have Teen Groot, which I think only came in the 3-pack with Thor and Rocket Raccoon. So this could be a new figure for him as well. And Legends has a, the Mjolnir bag. It looks like the same one from before, it just has the cracks in it, so that should be kind of dope. On top of that, we have Marvel's doing the 60th anniversary for Amazing Fantasy, and they got the Spider-Man figure from Amazing Fantasy 15, which I pre-ordered. I had to get that one, I mean, they have other ones, which is like the Peter Parker and the Ned Leeds 2-pack. Nah, I don't really think I need that, but, And they have Null and Venom 2-pack, which is great. I'm still trying to find a decent priced Venom double-coated color from this 90 series, but I haven't done it yet. Then they have Spinner-Man and Spider-Man 2-pack. Spinner-Man is obviously Mary Jane. They have the Marvel series Iron Spider, the original Iron Spider. Pre-ordered that too, because I've been waiting for that figure for a very long time. I mean, since I remember I bought my nephew the Vulture Spider-Man 2-pack, which is from the Ultimate Comics, and I was like, man, this is a great figure, but I want the Iron Spider one. So they finally came out with it. So that's pretty cool. I just feel like it's, you know, lackluster. It's really yeah. And ending with the Hasbro stuff, Marvel Legends got Mr. Knight and Moon Knight. Those figures look really cool. I like the way they're sculpted. They're part of the way that's going to get the Infinity Gauntlet Ultron from What If. I don't know who else is going to be in that wave, but that Ultron figure, yo, that's definitely one that I want. Because that was dope. The What If was amazing. I think it might be Hawkeye and the other Hawkeye, and then like Blue Marvel and stuff like that. Man, if it's that, then I don't want it. Like, they put like a cool character as a Build-A-Figure to some obscure characters that I really don't want. They're just trying to throw whatever at you and see what sticks. Also, Marvel had the Rhino come out, and I'm pretty sure he's the size of the Kingpin, which is a big, and it has the Spider-Man cartoon card on it, which hopefully it you know, they get more because it's sold out, but it was pretty dope. Yeah. So on the flip side of that, I actually want to go into DC as well, because DC got some heat out right now. Just came out with this right here, which is the DC Rebirth Batman. Now they did this figure before with DC. What is it? The Mattel DC stuff, and the colors were off. I think, in my opinion, the colors were off. And then I think they came out with this one where he was like battle damaged, but I actually just wanted like a regular figure of him, and they did it, and it came out new. Now the other ones that I want to talk about is they have some pre-orders now that are pretty dope. The Martian Manhunter, the Batman from the Blackest Night, Superman from the Blackest Night. Finally, a Kyle Rayner figure, which is pretty dope. And then, you know what's crazy? If you've been watching The Flash, this is gonna blow your mind, because they also have Deathstorm, which is Robbie from The Flash. Deathstorm is actually the villain of the season, so that's pretty dope. They have Wally West the Flash, which I have to get because I'm a Flash fan. They have Antichrist's Wonder Woman in all gold, which is kind of dope. They have Red Robin, which I actually like him as a character, so that's a pretty dope. But I only collect Batman DC Multiverse. That's all I really want, to be honest. Yeah. They have Jonathan Kent as Superman. They have the Hush 2-pack. But the thing with the Hush 2-pack is I don't like the way Batman looks. And I definitely don't like how his... I kind of wish it's black. His cowl is blue in the comic. So I don't know how that even works. And they have Hush by himself, but not Batman Hush by himself. The Flash season 7 from the show is coming out. I pre-ordered that. Also Godspeed, which is dope. A glow-in-the-dark Batman Beyond. They have Killer Croc, which McFarland also let us check out in like one of his videos on YouTube. They have the Zur and Ob Batman, which I didn't even know that was coming out until I saw it somewhere, and it was like the Batman of Earth 22, the Joker Batman, which is like blue and it has a green Batman. Definitely want that. There's a Reverse Flash from Injustice but I think he has the same face sculpt from the regular Flash, so I don't know if I should get that. And finally, out of literally nowhere, they have a Green Arrow, but it's Injustice. So I would, if it was a Green Arrow, I would like the one where he has like the mustache, the little beard here, where he looks like, like Robin Hood basically. And I would get that one. But yeah, definitely dope. I'm actually going to be doing a comparison, just what's the differences between a Marvel Legends figure and a McFarland figure, which is just skyrocketed as the number one figure of, I think, last year and this year. And I'll just give my thoughts on that stuff, why, and what's my overall opinion on it is next week. So this is it. This is the end of the episode. If you're watching, thank you for watching. And remember to like, subscribe, comment below, share, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your teacher, tell anybody who want to see a kick-ass show about comic books and nerd culture. Okay? And thank you for watching again. Like I said, follow us on Instagram, Dopish Media, on Facebook, all that stuff. And I'll catch you next week in another episode. And remember, you might have a Batman figure, you might have a Venom figure. There's always heroes and villains. Talk nerdy to me. Hey guys, if you like anything from Dopish Media, click on this way. You can catch more videos and more content. And let me know if you like us or not.